progress, rearrange the space, and now I'm ready to hang out with everyone again. So I hope you enjoy, hang out, and go ahead and chat. And I'll walk you through what I've been working on. Alright, so my current project has basically a deadline. I need to get this done by Saturday evening. And it is, well, chair cushions, not couch cushions, but chair cushions that look like Space Invaders. So this was my inspiration. Little coasters. And so I made it into an 8-bit pattern, crocheted it up, and now I need to actually make it fit the cushions. So that's the first thing I'm working on today. I have most of my yarn stash up here. Unfortunately, you can't see it, otherwise you wouldn't be able to see the project. We'll figure out how to make that happen. So I have little 8-bit patterns here. And I was talking to some people, and they say they use wind stitch to make patterns. Right now, I'm very simple, and I've just got Excel. So this little guy, the one I just showed you, needs to be done in green. It's a green dude here. He looks a little stretched out because apparently I had the cells all the wrong size, but before I actually get to the next colored section, I actually need to finish one. All I need to do is finish one by Saturday. So if I finish one tonight, fantastic. I feel like I'm missing a piece though. I have like a flat black back, and I don't know where it went. I made one just black square, probably this size. Yeah, it's this size for the back. This yellow one, I've already edged it nicely. And I actually made this one sort of match the cushion already, if you can tell that I brought the top in a little. So I may just have to make another flat black piece tonight, but that's going to be really boring. But the cushions are here. So that's what we're working with. They're kind of thin, they're small, but really it's more just for entertainment purposes. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do about the little strings that attach it. I might just leave these. One of my other options is to hide them on the inside and then make my own. So when I made this one, I made sure it matched size-wise. And then I'm also, much like the coasters, when I connect it all together, it's actually going to have a yellow border around the edge. So when I stitch the two pieces together, it's going to be with the yellow, and everything else is going to have its own color too, the pink, the green, the orange. So I need to work on that. I'm still a little confused as to why I don't know where that black piece went. Black piece is like, nope, bored. Actually, I know exactly where it is. I'll be right back. Know exactly where it went. We went on a trip and I packed it up. Oh, except my suitcase is right behind the wall here. But yeah, so it was in a certain pocket of the suitcase. And unfortunately, I'm very good at unpacking, so it's not there anymore. Well, I guess I'll just make another one. It's black, it's easy, it's 35 stitches by 44 rows, so stitches, 44 rows. It's a pretty simple pattern to do. And another whip. This is a cute little scarf I started. Can we tell what this is? Put it up against the... There we go, lower it down a little. There's paw prints! They're little paw prints! It's one of the cutest patterns I've seen, and it's relatively simple. I need to adjust it for myself in the way I crochet. I think it could have been written a little better. There's a very interesting crossover stitch to make this happen. But they're not exactly clear that you need to go, that when you're counting your stitches, to be like, hey, you want this to go in the center of the big hole you made underneath. So I need to make notes to myself on it. Let's get some snips and go ahead and cut that off. My other project, super colorful project, is the crochet along for my guild. I am a third of the way through. So this is a third of the project. Pretty happy with it. And it's a stash buster. Hopefully you can tell. It just has so many colors. If I get enough of the cushions tonight, we will work on that instead. It's a little more fun because these cushions are just single crochet. It's more color work and changing, but it's not at all technical or... It takes a little bit of skill, but not really. It's just a bunch of single crochet. I've been making these with an eye crochet hook, which is probably hanging out with the square that I'm missing. I'm racking my brain if I'm trying to figure out where it is. I'm missing my pink one again. The pink one just keeps going missing. Okay, so G is 4 millimeters. H should be about 4.5, and I. Okay. That's, oh, and H is 5. Alright, so. I'm just gonna make a guess at the 5.5. With the square. Get that out of the way. So here we got Space Invaders all over the place. And paw prints. Super cute paw prints. Started though, I do need to get one more thing up there. I'm glad that I changed this up so now I can actually read what's going on. So I'm going to hang out over here for a second and bring up Alright, let's see. Let's get this chat. Make sure the chat's going on. Hola. remember which one had all my commands in it. Revelo doesn't exist anymore, but I was using another one. Once upon a time when I was streaming months ago, I actually created a to-do list for myself before every stream, which ones I needed to. Hopefully I still have that to-do list. Alright. Oh, those were, alright, ideas. Flow vector pattern. I don't know what that is. Game show layout. Info panels.
What do you want to hear repeatedly on the radio this year?
Something that sounds like the music I already listened to.
And one person sharing.
If it's
Oh,
not
yes.
listen to it. Live guitars, tattoos, anything else is a bonus.
Like games to consider. Still need to update some of my camera stuff too. It may have been Nightbot, but I really just wish I knew. I don't think it was Ongthought, although Ongthought is what I was thinking about using. It's not real. Okay.
Well, it's pretty good, but you know, I need to ask my friends what they
Did
think
I have
first.
any? Okay, so it wasn't Nightbot. Moobot, that's what it was. I'm pretty sure it was Moobot. Gotta send Moobot over. Moo. I don't know how these people got it figured out all the time. Moobot dashboard, blah blah blah. Skip. Okay, here we go. Great. Moobot's not connected to his moderator. Mod Moobot. Sorry, Moobot. It says it's already as a moderator. Alright, so we will send it a shot. There we go. I have two different resolutions of screens going on, and it's bad. Okay. There we go. So much has changed since I last streamed. And I don't usually have the music going, so this is a test run of that as well. And it's usually quite loud, unfortunately. It's almost as low as it can possibly go, and I know it's still loud. So we'll be... Oh, and that is extremely unfortunate, because then it doesn't move my chat. said, most of the stuff is just single crochet here. Single. And more projects. Oh, you know what? I'm starting off like it's a magic circle project, which it is not. This is just a slip stitch project. That's Jingles. In part of our rearranging, he's over there, I'm over here. But yeah, he'll need to go back and forth. Maybe someday he'll actually join me in the Twitch channel. Although it'd be kind of weird because then you have like the 30-second or whatever. Actually, last time I tested, it was only like a 7-second delay. 7! Alright, so where are we at? We are with 2 really tight stitches. I may have made 2 really tight stitches at the beginning. No bueno. No bueno, no bueno. Okay, so here's 1. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 21. Okay, good. I know it's probably super boring to hear me counting, but I just gotta start the base routine first. So I had like 3 completely separate thoughts going while counting. The first one was, I was actually looking at how to make my base chain nicer. My starting chain is always a lot tighter than everything else is. And I was looking for a way to make it looser, to go up a hook size or 2, or what people do. And apparently there is a technique where you just start with the stitch, and I didn't really understand what that meant. So I do need to look more into it. I think it was a Craftsy class on your starting row. And I didn't really feel like paying for a Craftsy class just for the row. The second thought I had to do with knitting. And I was like, if someone starts a shawl, because I feel like counting up to 35 took forever right there. And if you're starting a shawl, I mean, shawls cast on with like freaking 180 stitches. I mean, I guess that's what stitch markers are for. You can count to 10 with a marker and count to 20 or whatever. That's actually what I did with the As You Go stripey blanket here. Each stitch marker is at 24 stitches because that's the repeat of the pattern. 24 stitches is that repeat. The foundationless crochet or something like that didn't have the... I can't remember the third thing that went through my head. The third thing didn't really have anything with fiber roots though. But yeah, that time it took me to count to 35. I was like, I have 3 different topics of conversation. But I really didn't want those count. So. Like I said, mentioned before, I don't usually have the music playing on in the background. I did for a few streams before. But I'm starting to sort of change my outlook on that. Like, I want to export my videos to YouTube, and I want them up on YouTube. However, YouTube goes ahead and mutes some or all of your video if it hears copyrighted content. And so the music you're listening to right now is from the Monster Cat Twitch channel, which has been approved for Twitch streamers. But what I learned is it's only for while you're streaming. It does not count for when you upload the videos to YouTube, which is unfortunate because then one of my streams I was kind of doing a tutorial, even though I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, it muted out almost my whole thing because I had Monster Cat playing just like I do now, completely in the background. I'm not quite sure. I know a lot of other streamers take requests from YouTube, etc. And I don't think they necessarily have a channel going there. So I may just give up on that. I'll probably still export my videos and save them up to YouTube, mostly for like posterity's sake. Basically so I can go back and look at what I was doing. It's still a public list, but it also helps me see how many disconnects I have when it shows me how many different freaking videos I streamed in one day. Which was annoying quite a while ago when I was streaming much more often. It's like, oh, you streamed WoW 4 times. I'm like, no, I didn't. I streamed it once and disconnected 3 times and finally said, screw it, I'm done. Alright, after this foundation row is done, it's a quote master. Oh, you're not supposed to count your foundation rows, you're not supposed to count your turning stitch, so I'm really only going to be done with row 1. I did print out the pattern for the next section of the As You Wish drapey blanket. So that's available. Which I'm a little more interested in that because I'm using different colors. Like, this is seriously just a straight up black swatch. But it needs to get done. It needs to get done. Although I was hoping I knew what the other swatch was and could just jump right in, sew it together, and then get on to the fun project. Row 1 complete. And then chain 1 and turn. Not quite sure how many people in also craft, but when you'll see at the end of almost every crochet pattern, every line will say CH1 and turn, chain 1 and turn, and then you begin the next row. Starting to shape up a bit more here. I can go a little faster. The beginning of a project is always what's really frustrating. Although I'm getting better, much better. I'm also a member of a group called the Nerdy Knitters of the SFFE, which stands for the San Fernando Valley. You know, honestly, I'm actually a little paranoid. I've had audio issues before. And even though I've set this, I want to make absolutely certain that it works. And even though I've set this, alright, sweet. You'll hear a little bit of echo. I apologize for that. But previously what would happen, in OBS, I've upgraded to OBS Studio, I would have absolute silence. It would go to my default, which for some reason it would default to my keyboard as my input and output device. So you could occasionally hear snippets of me, but was it my keyboard? I don't remember what it was using, but whatever it was not picking me up properly. But this seems to work a lot better. I will probably be looking into a different headset. I do have a Razer Kraken headset, which I like a lot. I love the Corsair's cordless capabilities, but I do want to find a cordless Kraken, because I have a Razer Kraken. And if that came as a wireless option, I would jump on that in a heartbeat. The head band part of it fits better. And the microphone isn't in my face. It's a retractable one, so it can be back here, closer to my, cheek, jawbone. But people can still hear me clearly. I move this 2 inches, like if I wanted to take a drink. And I get a heck of a lot quieter. So, plus I can see it. It's like blurry and in the way, and I don't want to see my microphone. Just want it to do its job. Radio waves don't need to be seen. Or sound waves, radio waves, waves. So the Nerdy Knitters is what I was talking about. I can't remember where I was going with that. That's the group that's doing the crochet along with the stripy blanket. You know what I'm gonna do? I'll do this. It's like, if I'm moving, I get warm. If I'm just sitting down, I'm getting really chilly. But I also have a Snuggie. It's a Rainbow Bright Snuggie. Anyway, so I'm still attached apparently. Flip this over. Alright, so as you go, stripy blanket. And this is a pattern on Ravelry. It's free. You have to read the blog post. I don't know if there's a PDF download of it. Our crochet along chair of the group put it into a nice printable format so we could, kind of use it portably as we do. I wonder what the loop is for Monster Cat. Like, how much original music are we hearing, and when does the loop start? Or if it's just, hit shuffle. Okay, we are on row 3. 3 out of 40. Ooh, what was the number? This is 35, but I think that's incorrect. I didn't actually write that out on the pattern. Actually, I think the little guy over here. Okay. You can hang out. Yeah, unfortunately I'm probably gonna have to wash that one, not just like take a Unfortunately, cats aren't allowed out here. Otherwise, I would probably actually have a cat in my lap right now. I'm taking a look around, and I know I want a second camera. And I know I want it like above me. So that way you guys would see the blanket and my hands and stuff. I have the camera itself. I just need a way to hook it up to the computer from all the way over here. The computer is about 5 feet away. But I'd want the cord to go up and around, otherwise you'd see the cord in the shot too. Charge my watch, charge my phone. All the things you think of when you start crocheting. It just relaxes you. I'd say it helps me focus, and even though it doesn't sound like I'm focused. telling me the things I need to do. Although WoW is not a need. Sometimes. So next year's crochet project. Oh, that's kind of where I was going with the being a member of the Nerdy Knitters group. Next year's crochet project is a shawl. At least for the first half of the year, it's gonna be a shawl, and that requires like 840 yards of yarn, fingering weight yarn. And surprisingly, I actually have probably about 1,000 yards of fingering weight yarn. So that's pretty awesome. Hello there. I can't actually see what was going on, unfortunately. Oh, well, thank you very much for the host. And I am going to need to change those alerts so I can see them. Appreciate the host. Papaya. You know, I'm surprised for all the, the fact that Twitch has added a social eating channel, but like they haven't added like a fitness and workout channel. I mean, that could be streamed under IRL, but for all the controversy there is over IRL, like, alright, fitness, whatever, someone on their stationary bike or lifting weights or doing sit-ups or push-ups or whatever. It's King of. Thank you for the host. I'm going to figure out how to. Yeah, I can't read those names. Now, if I was like a gaming streamer, I could probably look at something else and see it. Let's see. Figure out there's. Well, Streamlabs. Okay, who's going to tell me who hosts? I don't remember where I got all that information last time. That's what I want open. I want to be able to see what you guys are doing, what you guys want, if you're using commands or whatever. Be able to read it. Maybe when they host, I'll have a bot do a shout out in the channel. I have to say goodbye to MooBot though. I need to figure out what Stream Elements can do for me. What can you do for me? That's another host. Thank you so much. I should probably be like making a list of the things I want to do, because then I'll be like, what did I need done? Alright, this is a good book. This is my good. It's a good one to make notes in for stream. Since this is like my sort of crafting idea book. Okay. What do I got here? I don't have a pencil though. Yeah, I don't know. I had a pencil in here, like specifically for the crafty stuff. Disappeared. Bottom of the bag. Bottom of the craft bag. Yes, yes, yes. Excellent. Right. Yeah, so I had in here 2018 shawl for the Nerdy Knitters. The yarn idea. So I was specifically one night going on Ravelry, and I was obsessed with trying to figure out how the shawl pattern would look in all the different types of yarns, all the color changing variegated yarns. So I came up with a list. I'm like, okay, well, I could try shawl in a ball if I tried metallic. Killer something. Thanks for the follow. The follow? Host. Thanks for the host. So shawl in a ball, the Lion Brand mandala, because I wanted something thinner. It sounds like it won't be thin enough. Like, I don't think Lion Brand mandala is, excuse me, fingering weight. Oh, it says it's a 3/5. That might actually fall under fingering weight. Yes, yes, shawl, Trini loves me, pumpkin, poncho. Okay, so that must have been another pattern I wanted to do. Genie is another colorway. And the virus poncho looked really cool. I was watching a streamer last night, Needy Bird, and she was actually working on the virus shawl, which she was a little disappointed because she was working in all black, which is what I'm doing today. All black, boring. But she was working on the virus shawl, and she had a point that the virus shawl does not really look good in single color. It's meant to be done in a color changing gradient yarn. So anyway, I pulled out the notebook for a reason. So Twitch ideas. Twitch stream improvements. Announce hosts and followers in the chat. Okay. Yes, announce hosts and followers in chat. I actually have a box up there for the chat thing and I haven't gotten it to work. The Stream Elements people have been like super awesome in contacting me via Twitter when I made a comment about how frustrated I was not being able to get it to work. Well, part of it was my own dummy fault. I had the wrong resolution going on, but not being able to see my chat in that chat box, that's why there's that black rectangle up in the corner there. It's just not, yeah. So, Twitch stream improvements. Post some followers in chat. I know my stream is super blue. I did actually try to mitigate it. I have lights here. Extra lights, but it didn't really change the blueness at all. It's a camera setting. But it was pointed out that we have like 3 different color temperature lights in here. We have an iridescent, we have a fluorescent, and we have daylight bulbs. Whoops. Alright, so back to the plain boring black square. Hey man, as part of Space Invaders, you gotta make the space for the invaders to be in, right? And space is black. It has logic. I'm really sitting here like racking my brain. Alright, so last time I remember I had, because this is my new pound of Karen, 1 pound, Karen 1 pound. A new one I just opened up, but I have one that's like almost done, and I would love to like finish it off. Don't know where it went. So one of my boxes up here is red heart yarn, but I would like to think that I'm not brain dead, and I did not put my Karen in with my red heart. I'd like to think that. However, I did take the black Karen with me to Thanksgiving. And I crocheted in the car. I didn't crochet at Thanksgiving. Probably would have been okay. But I did last year. I crocheted last year. What was I making last year? I think last year was making my scarf. So I'm making my scarf with my spun yarn. My hand spun. That's just in there. And the bag I brought was... Maybe that's the key, the bag I brought. Which bag did I bring? I know I brought the... I really don't know. But yeah, since I started doing the rearranging around the house, my yarns have switched from one bag to another bag, and the usual places I put them don't exist anymore. Alright, so row 4 down. 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 4, 5. Starting 6. Finished black square. The finished black square that I did, I actually finished while we were traveling. So that was in the suitcase. Where would I put that afterwards? I didn't bring any of the colored ones. Just black with me. Which is also where I started this paw. It's called Meandering Paws scarf. I started that while traveling also. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it. I wanted to give it a shot. It looked like a super cute pattern. I feel like it's really big though. Like it's all double crochet. And I don't like half double crochet. I think so far half double crochet is my least favorite stitch. Slip stitch is the most depressing. Like you don't feel like you get anywhere. But it's not difficult. Half double I feel like there's more steps to it and you don't get the satisfaction of a tall stitch like you do with double crochet. And single crochet is great for patterns and pictures and all that. He's become the latte. I'm trying to figure out what he's saying in the song. I've become the latte, the latte, the latte. I think I do need to get a top-down camera sooner rather than later. Jenny Knits has a list of her equipment on her page, and she has a really neat like camera arm. And I think when I checked it out, it's something only like $15 on Amazon. So I may just get it. That's the one I want to use the 1080p on because if I'm trying to show you details, I want to be able to zoom in. I've become a latte. I really don't know what he's saying. I really think I'm hearing I've become a latte. Delighted? Maybe saying delighted? I mean, it's more fun to think he's become a latte. That would make a cool little music video. A little dancing cup. I am now a latte, a latte, a latte. I am now a latte. Actually, I could go for a latte. It was chilly. If Jingles gets up again, maybe I can convince him to make me one. Maybe. Nah, that would be happening, because then I have to explain it to him. And that would be weird. Like I'm treating him like a servant or something. No. If you already knew how to, it would be different. I mean, it's a 2-part packet, and I don't even think it is caffeine, it's just chocolate and sugar or whatever. It's a Gavalia Keurig thing. There's it looks like a regular size Keurig box, but usually when you get like 8 little cups, this latte package, you have one packet that you put in straight into the cup, and then you have another, the cup that goes into the machine, and it like froths the stuff that the powder that you put in the cup. Alright, sub something. Ah, man. yeah, we need to change that color. So thank you for the host. Thank you so much for the host. So as far as like I've been doing so many projects, it feels like this year. I haven't finished off a single skein of yarn, which I feel a little disappointed in that. I feel disappointed that I have not finished off a skein of yarn. And that was another notification, but where are you? Who are you? Shadow something! Thank you for those, that host. Crochet and chill, yes. That is what we are doing, crochet and chill. On the crochet couch. I'm gonna decide if I want another shelf here. I mean, we were talking about more shelving space so I can have my yarn out and see it and all that. But I kinda like the idea of maybe putting artwork behind me. Because it's plain boring wall right now. I did stop by TwitchCon. What was it? TwitchCon. I didn't have a ticket, but I did meet up with some of the rest of the Naughty by Nature crowd. And so I have some of their swag that I could, like, get a corkboard or something and put up. Adorned? Oh my goodness, thank you for the raid. Welcome everyone. I am making chair cushions. Needy Bird, hi! But yeah, so this is my current project, taking the coasters and turning them into a chair cushion, so that way I can have a set of super nerdy, like, table set of coasters and chairs that would match. So thank you so much, Adorned. Oh, is there really? Alright, I am gonna have to turn up my audio then. I could hear it earlier. Like, I actually had to test it out myself. So let's go ahead and I'll turn up my output. Oh, it was you! Hello! Okay. Well, actually, yeah, and this is my current crochet along that I'm doing with my knit and crochet guild. It's a pattern you should find on Ravelry called the As You Go Stripey Blanket, and I'm about a third of the way done, but I'm using it. Yeah, about a third of the way done with the blanket, but it's definitely keeping me warm. And like I'm working on, and this is funny because Needy Bird, I actually mentioned you earlier, because I was like, oh look, I'm doing the plain black backing for the chair cushion, and I was like, yeah, Needy Bird was doing this yesterday too. Like she's like, black is so boring. So thank you guys for the follows and for the raid. So, Holland, like a Needy Bird, I know that you're a crafter. What about, and Crafty Cat? I guess you probably are too. And Adorned, I feel like I've seen you before. Like, I've actually watched your channel, so. Yay! So yeah, that's what I got going on. So what were you streaming tonight, Adorned? All the notifications. Yeah, and my bot is going super slow too. Yay! Brissine. I think I need glasses. And Needy Bird. Yay! Oh, you guys are fantastic. I'm like actually blushing. Yeah, it's we spent some time rearranging because I wanted to kind of have a. One of my friends put it in my head that like she's like I could come over and I could craft. I'm like she's like I could craft with you, and at the time I looked around our space. I'm like, oh, there's no way we could do that. And so it has been in my head for quite a while, like over a year, to do it in such a way where I could actually have people over and like we could all like craft together. Yeah, so my finishing up your whips, that's fantastic. So our knit and crochet group is doing what they call a fandom challenge, and that's what this is. Like, I'm a fan of games, and Space Invaders is a classic game. So I'm making something I'm a fan of, related to. And shoot, where was I going with that? So this is a whip, technically. Ichabod, thank you for joining. Thank you for the follow. And so, I mean, the idea is to do all 4 of them. Well, we're having our end of the year gathering on Saturday, and I have one piece of this, and this one, which isn't even finished yet. Like, the picture obviously is. But I'm like, as long as I finish one, I just need to finish one before the event. So I'm like, maybe I'll just have the yellow one to come with me. But the pink one is really the one that's kind of like the iconic Space Invaders image. Knitting nerd! Knitting nerd? Do I know you, like, in real life? Because that looks like a very specific spelling of nerd. Because that would be awesome. Oh my gosh! Do you want me to say your real name on stream? Maybe. Are your initials TT? We'll go with that. Yeah, the blanket is cool. And Knitting Nerd I think she's working on it too? Are you, Knitting Nerd, are you working on the crochet along? But yeah, it is getting very, very soft, and I've mentioned before, I'm using some of the, like this purple and bright red is the Lion Brand Homespun. It feels great, it looks great, but it's such a pain to work with. Oh, that pattern is so old. Yeah, my Moobot's out of date, guys, but that's actually a really fun thing if you want a baby blanket. The blanket's on the break at the moment. Oh yeah, the mandala stuff. Oh, I've seen some of those. They look gorgeous. Actually, Knitting Nerd, if you want to share the mandala, she made like a mandala vest. Looks super cool. Also very bright. So it's circular, but it has armholes in it. And it's just kind of like a nice shrug, light, but probably warm. I don't know. It's kind of been on my, to make for myself list if I get around to doing wearables, which I don't usually do. Yeah, I think you can share. I don't think I have links blocked. I mean, I redid a lot of my stuff in chat. You can try and copy paste a link. It might yell at you, but let's test that out. Yeah, the to make for myself list, and I mean, there's another list that I haven't even written down yet. I'm not gonna be able to make a home for Christmas this year, but I want to make a few things to send home. I have some nieces, so I've made my own pattern for like a little bath scrubby because I have some of the Red Heart scrubby yarn. Hey, thank you very much for that host. And I apologize, I'm not saying the name of the people who's hosting me. Like I've mentioned, and you guys can probably see, I have a bit of a blue screen, and when it pops up, the letters are also blue, so that was a bit of an oversight. Yeah, if I only had time for myself list. Because it's like, and the thing is, I don't keep a stack of my stuff. Most of the stuff, it's like, I make it, I give it away. I make it, I give it away. So it's not like I have like, look at all the things I've done. That's what I use Ravelry for. Ravelry's just like, look at all the stuff I made and gave away. So yeah, I made it, I gave it away, and I don't have Ravelry anymore, but I have pictures. Like last year, I went out to my ex-mother-in-law's to get like the last bit of stuff that I had out there. And I tried to bring a peace offering. I made a wine bottle. What's the word I'm looking for? Bag, I guess. And I had gotten a ribbon and made it so that you could actually like pull it, and it would kind of drawstring tight. I never took a picture of it. I didn't take a single picture of it. But like I spent the whole time on the plane crocheting it. I had the rest of the pieces ready, and yeah, I have. So I mean, it's on Ravelry saying, hey, yeah, look, I made this bag thing, but it's just a picture of the yarn I used because I didn't actually take a picture of the finished object. Bit of a stressful thing anyway. Mother-in-law, God knows what the ex-husband told her. Oy. Anyway. So yeah, I need 40 some rows of, so this is like 36 stitches across, and I need 40 rows to make the back of the cushion thing. Oh, now you know what I'm doing for the fandom challenge. I think you can't post, well, you might be able to post a picture link, like you can post links, and then we'd have to click on them manually. I still have to get used to the interface. So actually, I would, if you could try posting a link and tell me what happens. It'll either work or it'll say you're not allowed to do that. Are you cold? Alright. See, it was chilly, and he even wanted the Snuggie, but I have my blanket. We have, I could make a blanket. I could make another blanket. Actually, I have an idea for a blanket, but you know if I get into something like that, it'll take me years. Yeah. Okay, so I got the Hirschner's catalog, and on the cover of the Winters, there's a blanket that's done in like a stained glass style. And I was like, oh, this is so pretty, I should do it. And he goes, looks at me like, when's it gonna get done? Like, 2021? Actually, yeah, that's the first thing he just said, 2021. I'm like, what, you think that's how much it costs? He's like, no, but I think it'll be finished if you start it. Yes, Hirschner's. The Hirschner's catalog. I also made the joke that, yeah, the stained glass blanket on the, now I feel like I need to find the Hirschner's catalog. I don't know where I put it. But the cover of the holiday, and it's all crochet stuff. I don't know how they knew, because I bought something from Hirschner's. What did I buy? I bought a kit, and I bought, oh, you live in Wisconsin, that's great. I went to school in Wisconsin. I grew up in Minnesota and did my colleging in Wisconsin. Colleging? I just turned it into a verb. But yeah, the cover is a kind of like a granny square type blanket, but every color change is surrounded by black, so it looks like stained glass. But yeah, the stuff I ordered from Hirschner's, it was a kit that was not knit or crochet, and it was, and so like four skeins of cotton yarn. So not specifically crochet, but the catalog they sent me was all crochet kits. And I was like, thank you, this is so great. I was like, look, my porn doesn't come in a black bag. I was totally joking about how Hirschner's catalog was my porn. worsted 8. I got there like Knob Hill or something hill, like wheat colored cotton. Oh no! 2 months on the border. It sounds like you were outside if you were working on the border, literally, like at a lock or something. Actually, I think working at like one of the locks in the winter would be terrible. But yeah, so I got yarn and a knot knitter crochet kit, but then they sent me the magazine that's all about crochet. It was heavenly to look at. I kind of devoured it, and I was like, wait, I'm gonna be getting on a plane in a few hours. I should have just like waited and enjoyed it on the plane. No, I was asking, yeah, at one of the lock-in dams, I was asking if that's where he worked, because when he said he worked on the border, that was the first thing that came to mind, was the Mississippi River being the border. I just also realized like how gesticulate I am, and like how much I'm not necessarily getting crocheting done because I'm talking and ooh. Yeah, because I'm talking and not actually using my hands to work. Oh, okay, yeah, it's still outside. So, Ichabod, where are you like normally from if Minnesota, Wisconsin was just a 2-month stint? That's good to know, Adorn, that like I won't be the only one only getting some stuff done. Contractors come and dig out the fiber huts. Oh my god. Okay, so you must probably were further north in Kansas. Well, Kansas gets a good deal of cold and snow, right? I mean, I almost feel like Kansas would be worse than Minnesota and Wisconsin's super, super. Malkay 0712, hi. Micah? I'm sorry, I was trying to figure out how to say your name. Ichabod Glass does glass blowing, I'm guessing? Michael. Okay, hi Michael. Are you a crafter too, Michael? I am crocheting. That's what I'm doing. I believe Adorn said she's also a crocheter. She's in chat. I'm making the assumption Adorn is female. Because like I said, I feel like I've seen your stream before. I haven't picked my phone. Oh no, my phone is probably dead. It's in my bag. Alright, I'll get up in a second. Alright, so yeah, like I said, that Moobot pattern is old. That is obviously not what I'm currently working on. But if you are looking at the pictures in the bottom corner, the Captain America beanie hat and blanket does appear in that picture list. So when that comes by, that's the pattern that's being spammed by the Moobot. I think you can post the picture here, Knitter Nerd. It would have to be like a link to another web page. It doesn't like show up like in Facebook. So like if you put it up on Instagram or something and then link to the Instagram post, it should work. But please test. I don't think I blocked links. If I did, let me know. Like, it'll give you a message. So Michael, are you a crafter? Alright, cool, you can post links, that's great. So Needy Bird, I think you were the one saying about mandalas. That pattern that Knitting Nerd just put in from Ravelry, she made that in a couple different she used a colorful yarn to do it. And again, that's also on my list of things to make for myself when I have the time. I need to actually type that list up. I do have a typed up and printed off list of my crochet projects. Game designs make me want to do 8-bit stuff. Yeah, I mean, after watching everyone do purlers and stuff, I'm like, I can do that with crochet. So that's kind of where I got the Space Invaders idea. That it was just, I was like, hey, I got these cool coasters hanging around the house. Oh, and Knitting Nerd, now you have seen my fandom challenge. It's this. The coasters being turned into chair cushions. And I've mapped out the 8-bit pattern myself for all 4 of them in Excel, printed them off, and then just gone ahead and followed them. So that is my fandom challenge. This is one for the green one. I don't even know if you guys can see this very well. Yeah, you should be able to see some of the gray stuff. And this one's the orange one. Neither of these are done yet. But those are the ones that I have left to do. You can sort of see it. It's not good. But yeah, after seeing, was it Jacinda's little crocheted cute sushis? I was like, I lost, because that's my crocheted non-wearable. A Pixel Mario mushroom, but definitely will try more. Yeah, and some of the stuff I've tried. So if I ever design software, and I'm sort of pointedly poking Knitting Nerd here, because doesn't your husband design software? So one of the things that I think would be very neat to design is, sure, with pixel art, you have your, in my case, each stitch is a pixel, or each 4 stitches for the big version. Each 4 stitches is 1 pixel. But if we could design a software that you could take the granny square pattern, where you're going every other one, and you could make a giant granny square blanket, but somewhere along the lines you're changing colors, so each group of 3 stitches would be like your pixel. I think that would be really cool for crocheters. Am I making sense? Because they're offset. Because you work in the long line, and then you have the 3 stitches, and then you have a long line, and then 3 stitches, and that's a basic granny square. I've got total silence in chat. I think I might have lost you all. Okay, good. Actually, I could probably use my my as-you-go blanket as what I'm talking about. Because the last thing I did was the granny square lines. Alright, so there's purple and green and purple. And you see how they're kind of in a diagonal line here. Well, if I change the colors at certain spots, I could actually get it to spell out, well, not spell out, but envision a pattern. And when you make granny squares or granny square blankets, it's a stitch. You're kind of going in a circle. And then you can do more around the edges. So I saw a Mario blanket that was, a bunch of different granny squares, but it was the whole square. Now if you condensed it even smaller, where each square ended up being 1 stitch, 1 color here, so for your Mario you'd have 3 in a row that would be your red hat, and then you'd have 4 in a row that was the peach color of the skin. But you'd also want it to look right, and because it's not in lines, it would be like trying to design something with hexagons, I think. Would probably be the closest way to do it. So I wonder if there's a hex program, and I think there would be for something like Dungeons and Dragons. If you're planning maps or whatever, there's probably like a fill in the hexagon sort of program. Okay, I think maybe I'm making sense then. Instead I'm like Granny Square program, and you're all like, what? Because I don't know, and I probably have to talk to like Moto, Ruxin, or Mini Burger, or K-Warning, about Wind Stitch and see how that works. Knitting Nerd, have you ever made patterns in Wind Stitch? No, I have not tried Stitch Fiddle. Is that the free one? Because I know there was a freeware pattern making program, but they kept swearing by Wind Stitch because I was asking about 8-bit stuff because I was using Excel, and they're like, no, use Wind Stitch. I'm like, I don't feel like paying $50 right now. Okay. Stitch Fiddle is free, okay. And is that knitting or crochet or both, or is it cross stitch, and or which crafts does Stitch Fiddle cater to? Yeah, there's a lot of programs have the, you know, hey, try me out, but if you want all the cool bells and whistles, give us money. Ooh, color work. Knit, crochet, oh, so kind of all the things. Kind of all the things. I'll take a look into Stitch Fiddle then to make a big graph. Alright. Is it like a straight graph? Like a straight graph. That sounds strange. Does it count for offsets and stitches and stuff? Because like purlers, some purlers stack on top of each other, but like sometimes they sit in the groove like of the other purler. Ooh. You know, I have a Loot Crate shirt that has like the D&D ampersand dragon. I do want to do something with that. Oh, funny enough, I wore that D&D ampersand dragon shirt, Knitting Nerd, to a major network, and I don't know who the Asian lady is there. She's not one of the owners, but she rang me up. I got like some needles or something for the amigurumis I was doing at the time, and she was so fascinated with the D&D ampersand. She's like, "Is that like a Chinese dragon?" I'm like, "No, it's for a game." And she was definitely disappointed that it wasn't like some deeper meaning dragon, that it was a game. Oh, okay, then I should probably really look into Stitch Fiddle. That's excellent. So Adorned, do you make patterns then? Like, and if you do you sell them? It's a nice shirt. I mean, I really do like the way it looks. I kinda want to find another one. Oh, you design for a yarn company. Are you at liberty to say who? Because I believe that First use crochet patterns. They're going to head out. How can I get noticed when you're live again? You can follow me. There should be a little follow button somewhere if you haven't hit that already. And then there will be like a slider bar that says notifications on or off. And then it will email you when I go live. Oh my gosh, that's great. Yay, thank you. Yeah, being able to meet Chris Perkins? Okay. Thanks for the follow. Really? You work for Darn Good Yarn? That's really cool. I have one of our gals in the knitting crochet group is always reposting stuff from Darn Good Yarn on Facebook. Alright, yep, see you Saturday. Have a good night. Yeah, I keep seeing the posts. I'm like, oh, the yarn is all pretty. I was like, but I don't have time for a project for it. Maybe I'll have to look into, now I'll definitely have to look in a little deeper to them.
Show 'em how we do it. It's like
Now, do you knit also? Okay. Or do you only write crochet patterns for them? And totally random, but sort of related, like I wanted to go to all the websites for the yarns that I have found interesting the past year on Friday, and just be like, who's having sales, and everybody's having sales. But Friday and Saturday is when we ended up, well, not Friday so much. Friday we went out off-roading, but Saturday is when we were rearranging the room, the space here, and yay, crochet! Darn twist in Dragon's Tail. Well, Dragon's Tail just sounds like a cool colorway anyway. So how do you start your patterns? Do you write the pattern first and then crochet it, or start crocheting and then look back at what you did and then write up what you did? For Aaron and DK still. Ooh, man! Not only are you a pattern writer, you're like one of their freaking reps. Oh. Do they sell any fingering weight, or is that like your DK? Love crochet. I used to, seeing the Love Crochet website up there reminded me, I used to do a lot of like giveaways on all free crochet and like all free knitting. Okay, the 188 yarns on Love Crochet. Like the all free crochet and all free knitting website. But then they added this thing in with a bunch of ads. It's like in order to even like submit your information, you had to click through, I kid you not, 22 ads just for it to be like, cool, you're actually entered. And it's like, this is not worth my time. A Hair Affair is a streamer who uses it all the time. I feel like we're gonna write that down. Okay, so for crochet patterns, no, crocheting and patterns is Adorn. And then for African Flower Turtle, oh, recycled silk. A Hair Affair. A Hair Affair makes it sound like she uses Angora. And like, only Angora. Yeah, it was fun. It was kind of weird. My uncle sent me a message. It was probably like Friday or Saturday. And all it was a link to a yarn site that had silk, like recycled silk yarn. And I think he sent it to me because it was recycled sari. And I was like, yes, I know what this is. I was like, but I'm not going to buy it right now because I don't have a project for it. Like, if I go out and buy silk, it's going to be for very specific something or other. I own 2 saris, and neither of them are silk. They're like a... They're not cotton either, I'm not quite sure what they are. But they're so thin, they could actually very well be very thin. They're probably linen, actually. They're probably dyed linen. I haven't taken out and touched them in a long time. They've packed away. I did get to wear the one sari while I was actually in India. It was... And it was interesting, and I did it near the end of my trip there. And I realized that, like, I should have done this a lot sooner. In India, they genuinely appreciated when I would dress in their style, in their traditional style. It was a world of difference with the way they treated me. Because I mean, sure, I wore the sari at the very end of my stay, but I had also gotten a salawar set, which is like one of the really long kind of tunic shirts, and then you wear like leggings underneath, and they're very bright, bold colors. I had a purple salawar and like teal leggings. They really, in America, I would not wear that. I'd probably wear black leggings underneath the purple salawar, but all the girls were so interested in it. Honestly, the girls never talked to me up until I wore this. So it was just this very interesting cultural sort of difference. I don't think there's such a unique style in the United States, and I don't know if people would really gravitate towards that, but out in India they were super appreciative that I was trying to blend in. I don't know what they thought I was doing. I'd gotten the set because I love the shade of purple that the tunic had come in. And it happened to come with these weird green leggings. And their leggings are extra long, like they're supposed to bunch up at the bottom. It's kind of uncomfortable though, because then my feet don't fit in my shoes, but they also don't wear closed-toed shoes. They wear lots of sandals, so I don't like sandals. Lots of patterns on their side. Sari skirts are good yarn. Yeah, in my blanket, I do have some ribbon yarn, and I do want to incorporate it. Maybe I can go grab the ribbon yarn for the next set of instructions for this, and then try out ribbon, because I've never crocheted with ribbon yarn yet. What just happened? I'm very confused. Alright, so I got disconnected, it looks like, and then my thing started hosting someone else. So we gotta find out. Alright, where is my mouse? Why won't my mouse go over to the other screen? There it is. Unhoused. Okay, so I'm here. I think... Did it kick me off to host someone else? Because that's pretty bullshit. I didn't have to hit OBS anymore to get me back on screen, but I just had to unhost the other guy. That's really not cool. Ezra Morningstar, thank you for the host. But yeah, that was super strange. Yeah, I don't appreciate that. I'm gonna have to let HL Swaglord know what happened. Be like, dude, you kicked me out of my own stream, and he'll be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm back though, yes. Alright, so I was talking about the saris and stuff in India. I have no idea what the last thing you guys saw or heard was. Because I went on kind of a long, not really rant, but just sort of explanation about dressing up in India. Yeah, that's so, I don't know, I'm gonna have to, because I actually use a hosting network. It's called Fajar, Fjarr, that will host other people, and I can set my priorities of who I want to host and all that. And I kind of forgot that I had it. Like I was saying about the links and stuff like that, I had forgotten about my MooBot earlier. Now obviously I haven't updated my MooBot. Also, the pattern I'm currently working on is not really, I'm just making it. I don't have a pattern for it. I'm making my own pattern, I guess. 9:25. Okay, so... Alright, I just want to make sure you guys are still with me. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I have the Excel pieces. Maybe I'll write these up as a pattern sometime. Oh, good, Needy Bird, you're here. I'm like, maybe I'm just back to talking to myself again. Because, yeah, you guys showed up like 45 minutes into my stream and was like, that was 45 minutes of just me talking to myself. But the rate option is super nice, being able to see that in my chat. So yeah, this is the first time I've been... The long shirt you wore that got... Yes, that was... Okay, so it DC'd at like the same time where I sort of stopped talking. I kind of run out of things to say at that point. I was actually in India for work, so it's like my people who were co-workers were commenting on it. It wasn't like random girls in the street. But yeah, I worked in a department that was mostly guys, and they had no reason to talk to me. But then I wore it. But yeah, it's been months since I've streamed, and in those months, OBS moved from OBS to OBS Studio, which I had to change up, and then Stream Elements, it has now taken over everything. It was Streamlabs, and then before Streamlabs it was something else, and I kind of had to shuffle all the things around, so I'm still learning a lot. Also, I wanted to comment, your layout's very clean. Do you use Streamlabs for that? I don't think I could figure out how to make it that clean and that centered. I was having quite a few issues getting my stuff to be placed where I wanted it to. Like, if you notice my alerts, like, Left Shark is freaking enormous, and I don't really want him that big. He's just that big for now because I wanted to start streaming. I was like, whatever, I'll use the default. I did go on Giphy a little. Gifly, looking for something I wanted. Just wasn't finding anything I liked. At least not yet. I mean, I didn't spend... It's like one of those sites where you have to spend like an hour just like scrolling through. It's a lot of separating the wheat from the chaff there. Lots of chaff. Flip. I feel like I must have lost Adorned though. Dang. I really feel like I've seen Adorned stream before. But it would have been a while ago. Okay, time to count the rows here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. I'm on row 16 at the moment. Row 16. And I might actually... I don't know, I guess the goal in my head is to get it all stitched up and actually finish one of the cushions tonight. I'm not sure how likely that really is, though. I could probably finish the plain black square. Now I really want to go find that Salawar set. I may have just packed it away. The shirt was really tight though. It might not fit right now. The Indian gals are much slimmer than I am, and they usually don't have quite as big of a chest. So that was actually an issue when I went and got my sari, is that you need a sari top to go with it, and I had to go out and buy a top, and it was very difficult. Like, it was kind of embarrassing to go shopping for a sari top. It just didn't. I had got the largest size they have, and for an American, I'm not a big individual, but apparently for an Indian girl, I am. Oops. Yeah, actually, I am more interested in finishing this square so I can get working on this blanket again. Like, I'm already thinking about the border for it. Like, what kind of yarn I want to use for the border. I want to use something that's not very stretchy for the border, though. Because some of the stitches are very loose stitches, and it does stretch a lot, or like up and down. Especially because I have so many different kinds of yarn going on. But I'm looking forward to putting in a border that will sort of prevent some of the stretching, that will stretch out. I also messed up some of the stitches in the beginning, so there's enormous gaps that shouldn't be there. And I looked at my next section of the pattern, and it's called the Catherine wheel, and I'm a little intimidated by the Catherine wheel because I messed it up so badly the first time. But it messed it up the same way all the way across, so it looks like it's supposed to do that, but it's really not. Did you end up finishing your shawl, Meaty Bird? Or are you still working on that? I know you were playing some Yarn Chicken last night. I mean, unless I keep going for like literally days, there's no way this could be considered playing Yarn Chicken. It'll be quite a satisfying thump. I hope I didn't chase people away by swearing when I said that it was BS that the host kicked me off my stream. How long does the big blanket take? Like this one? I've only been working on, I've been working on it all year long, but I've only been doing little bits at a time. Like, I think I've put in less than 12 hours on it. I was saying last night that I'm only working on it during the knit and crochet meeting. So, and those meetings are an hour long. Well, they're actually a little longer than that. But I'm actually participating in the meeting. And I've gone to almost all the meetings. So, just start it right away at the beginning of the year. Maybe 10 hours. So right now I've put less than 10 hours in it. It's a third of the way done. So I can assume maybe putting 30 hours will finish it. That's not terrible. And when I sit down and concentrate on it, I get a lot more done. All the green and purple you see on the top here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, I got that done last night in less than 2 hours, and that's probably a good 3-inch chunk. Thank you very much for that, host. I need to find how to see those hosts better. So I would say that if I put a lot of time, it'd be 30 to 40 hours would be the total time on the blanket. And it's funny, right now it's not very big. It's tiny. I would almost call this like a child's blanket or like a pet-sized blanket at this point. It's still pretty small, but to keep my legs warm. It's doing a good job of being a blanket. Thank you very much for that, host. Yeah, I thought that, you know, putting together a bunch of random colors might be kind of weird looking, and there's different sections here. Thank you very much for the host, Batman. And I've tried to make each section sort of match in the same color family-ish, or at least the same like yarn texture. So like this bright red, like this fire coral color, I feel like that's sort of the outlier, but I've also surrounded it by other stuff that's the same texture. So it works well in that sense. But yeah, I got so many other colors to go along with it that, and I think I mentioned earlier, I'm a little disappointed that I haven't finished off a skein of yarn yet, like at all this year. So I kind of want to use this blanket. I think the first color that I'm going to finish off, there's like a variegated color in here. There's a light pink, a tan, a maroon, a brown, and then it repeats light pink, tan, maroon, brown. And it's something like mulberry. I have it written, I wrote it down because the label fell off, but I only have this much left. And so when I start using this, I will probably, this won't last a full row, but it will probably be my first skein that I finish for the year. I mean, there's less than a month left in the year. Alright, let's see if I can figure out how to see these awesome people who are hosting me. Rambo King, thank you for that host. Let's go ahead and check out the overlays. I don't know what launch versus view is, so kind of keep that there. Alright. I'm still working on the best possible way to set all this up and work with it while I'm live. So thank y'all for your patience. We're not gaming streamers here, we move around, we gotta be able to see what's happening. Alright, so yeah, so some of the yarn that's piled up kind of here in the corner, which you can't really see, is the next colors I'm planning on using on this blanket. Although since we talked about ribbon yarn, I kind of want to go grab the ribbon yarn I've set aside for it and maybe make that the next section. Sunglass John, thank you for that host. Much appreciated. However, I now see that there's a flaw into what I just did. I need to mute the other thing. Let's see. I know there's an option to do that. There we go. Mute. So yeah, ribbon yarn, all the colors. Oh wait, no, I lied. I did finish off a skein. That was a total. Yeah, I finished off one and then I had to change to a similar blue. Alright, so over here, I went from a very fuzzy dark blue really kind of knobby. I am back! Hi Adorn, you didn't totally leave, yay! And Jack Thompson 101, thank you for the host. Yeah, I don't know what happened. My channel just started hosting somebody else. It like cut me off. And when I typed in unhost, it stopped hosting the other person, and I was back on screen without ever having to like hit stream again on OBS. So I was like, I don't know what happened. Sarwa, thank you for the host. But yeah, I'm glad you're back too. I was saying I had fibbed a bit by saying I had not yet finished a skein of yarn, but that's not true. So yeah, I went from some knobby blue to a Karen Simply Soft, which was almost the same color. Alright. I'm happy I'm getting stuff figured out too. It's like people are in chat talking, and I figured out how to see who's hosting me. Like, pieces are coming together. Twitch is being twitchy. So, Crafty Cat, I feel like I've been ignoring you, and I'm really sorry. What crafts do you do? No worries, Dorn, no worries. So, I don't know how much you guys follow the rest of creative and all that, but I saw some stuff on Twitter and people were like apologizing for saying stuff during stream, like, I'm sorry if I've ever done this, I apologize, and if I was, let me know and I'll try and stop. But it was sort of like manipulating people or trying to sort of strong arm people into doing stuff, I think was what it was. No one was clear about what the issue was. So if anyone could shed light on that, that would be great. It could have just been some Twitch drama. Whoa. Did my stuff just jump? I'm also watching, like, I have Twitch up, it's muted, but my camera just seemed to have jumped or something. ABC. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so 11-second delay. I buffered. Psh, buffered. Buffering, that's so funny. I'm like, buffering is so 90s. But it's still a thing. Actually, we switched so I'm on Wi-Fi, so I may have to run some, like, tests and see if the Wi-Fi versus... And, yeah, we all know that, like, wired is better than Wi-Fi, but I want to know how big of a difference, because for us to be wired where we currently are is actually kind of a pain. Like, we have cords running through our house, and that's... I mean, not only does it not look good, it's kind of dangerous. We had them running through the rafters, but apparently raccoons got into the attic and literally ate our Ethernet cord. Like, chewed right hell through it, so... For some reason, I'm thinking, yeah, it was really weird. We couldn't figure out what was going on, and one day I was just like, man, my internet's going really slow, and I don't know what else. I'd mentioned it to Jingles, and he was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, I'll take a look into it. And I'm glad I didn't try to keep doing whatever it was I was trying to do, and I'm like, internet was going really slow, I just did whatever on my phone. And I'm glad I did that, because otherwise I probably would have been just like swearing up a storm at my computer. Over the music. Yeah, the music is... So the music is currently another Twitch channel, and I keep trying to turn it down, but I think it's the lowest it can go. Alright, let me try and knock it down just a touch more. There we go. That should be better as far as hearing me. Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. Audio is hard for me to figure out. I should probably have someone help me troubleshoot that when I redo stuff. You know, tweak stuff, set it up. Actually, it's probably good that it's lower because I feel like I was shouting. Because it's in my headphones also. Man, I really do like gesture a lot. You can tell I'm Italian. Hunter Spike, thank you for that host. Oh, Crafty, I think I asked you, but you might not have actually heard me now knowing that there was an audio issue. What kind of crafty do you do? Yeah, is the Japanese word for raccoon tanuki? Because like for some reason that's the word that came into my head when I pictured them like chewing our cables. Crochet and cross stitch. I feel like cross stitch has so many applications, and I've seen a lot of K-warnings patterns, and they just look so awesome. And of course, I'm telling myself I should learn how to cross stitch, and I'm like, I haven't even figured out how to knit yet. I'm sewing, or not? I'm not sewing. I want to do sewing. I just need to figure out the machine. Um, there's weaving projects I want to do, and I'm gonna try and borrow a loom from someone and like make the last woven gift I need to make this year. Actually, you know what I could do? I could update Moobot and put in the blanket pattern. I'll do that in just a second here. So that blanket there, you guys can have. Alright, as we go, stripey blanket. Alright, copy that. Moobot. And commands, command list. Pattern and edit. There we go. And we'll save that. Command. Oh no! Oh, a quilting machine. Now that sounds freaking cool. Alright, so the stuff I did should not have... Command 2. Alright. Buffer. Turn it off and then on again. Okay. Okay, that is sweet. Alright. Man, that's lots of buffering going on. I'm not a fan of all that buffers. Buffles. Lil Beefy, thanks for the host. I'm the girl from the ring. Oh, because I was down there and stood up. Oh. Yeah, but I'm not like crawling out of your screen. Because if you're like most of us, you're probably watching on your computer. I would literally be like in your lap. Oh. Yeah, it seems to I seem to have a little bit of connection issue at the moment. So I'm wondering if I actually did disconnect earlier, my hosting thing started hosting and right? It's funny because I was just playing with my commands on Moobot, so I'd have different stuff rotate through the chat, not just that Captain America blanket that I'm not currently making. I streamed that back in like April. Don't blink. And but the very first thing I ever streamed, very first thing was I was trying to use and I'd like to say thank you to Byadzo for the host. So you mentioned Doctor Who. Doctor Who is from Gallifrey, and if you've noticed that any of their writing or whatever, it's like very pictorial. It is a circular language. Gallifreyan is in circles because it's all about time. It's all about going around in a clock. Oh gosh. And so their language is actually based in circles and a couple lines. So my my profile picture says Hyper Zen Girl in Gallifreyan. That's what that picture is. I know it looks sort of like a wonky like BB-8, but if someone came up with a constructed Gallifreyan, and that was one of the first things I streamed was using Photoshop to make it happen and work with it. It was a little bit frustrating because Photoshop's not meant for vectors, and that's what I would need. I know I need Illustrator. I would definitely need Illustrator to do it right, but I was trying to do it in Photoshop. So like my first 3 streams, I didn't have my audio set right. I was super nervous for streaming for the first time. I was using Photoshop, which I wasn't as confident as I feel I should have been. I was doing something I'd never done before. SX Brody, thank you for the host, not follow, that's a host. I'm also part of a hosting group. It's called Fajar. Like, I think I still have it in my profile if you scroll down. You kind of enter this round robin of hosts, and you can, even if someone's not a member, you can say that you want to host them and put them as priority. So instead of, I was on this before Twitch added in auto hosting. Yeah. Adorned. Okay. Actually, yeah, one of my original giveaway things, like in my giveaways, was like, you know, the username in Gallifreyan. And I'm like, I don't know how many people actually care about that. So I took that off and replaced it with something else. I think it was the first loot box. That's when I first started streaming. It is kind of neat because it's also, there's a bit of an art to it. You need to be able, the way you read it is clockwise. So when you're adding your letters together, so you start with a type of circle, like your first letter is going to be your big, makes keychain stickers and stuff with your name and Gallifreyan. Okay. Yeah, and numbers is weird. Let me, I'll turn on the command because my command has the link to the Gallifreyan post, and it's like 3 PDFs that explain how to do it. And when I did it, getting into numbers, I was like, nope, not doing numbers, because that was complex. Yes, okay. So if you keep chatting, and so Death434, thanks for that host also. Then a link will show up in the chat about where to find Gallifreyan, and like in order to understand it, you actually have to read all the pages. It doesn't. So that's the first thing I ever streamed, and I totally had no idea what I was doing. I was like, cool, I figured out how to do a screen capture, and I figured out how to get my Steam or Stream key connected to this OBS thing, and oh look, I'm streaming now, cool. But I've watched quite a few different streams since then, and I did take a couple months break, and I kind of have a slightly better idea of what I want to do. It is mostly just hang out and do it. Being comfortable, because before I was not comfortable. Just the way, the space I had, the way I sat, wasn't comfortable. So I'd stream, and I'd be exhausted after like an hour and a half. And I'm like, how can people pull like 6-hour streams, 10-hour, 12-hour streams? Of course, I would talk about being exhausted and I yawn. Probably shouldn't do that. But yeah, as far as like the whole streaming late at night thing, I was noticing that I wanted to watch creative streamers at this time, and there was nobody on. Or the creative streamers, like the KBN people, would actually be playing games. So I'm like, okay, when I stream, it's gonna be creative. I mean, that's why I joined KBN. That's why I spend so much time on Twitch, is all the craft. I'll try to watch other types of crafting, and at that point, it just depends on the person. Wado Bill, thank you for that, host. Yeah, the Gallifreyan, it was just as complicated to figure out what symbol I needed as it was to figure out how to do it in Photoshop. Oh, yay! I will totally ask about it when I come in. I still have to watch season 10. We've watched all of the offshoot one, Torchwood. The Few or the Salt and Pepper Shakers. Oh, yes! Actually, where is... So Jingles says he has had a friend who made him knit him honest to God Doctor Who scarf. The thing is enormous. I wore it once and I was so hot. Is it in there? Is it over there? We're gonna try and find the Doctor Who scarf. I don't know if it's the 22 inches or not inches, 22 feet or whatever it is, something like 7 meters. Ah, there we go. So, who made this one? Kira? Okay. So, 5th Docker? What's this?
Yeah, it's Tom Baker's. It's the
5th version of the scarf? Because there were like 8 different scarves, but all similar?
Yeah, they changed every year.
So, okay, there you go. There's the Gallifreyan link there. And this is the scarf that Jingles has that his friend Kira made. And it's very well done. Like, I can't see the color changes. I can't see the bind-offs or anything like that. Like, I've sat here and stared at it and, like, tried to feel it, so she did a fantastic job. Aw, sad. You don't know how to watch it online anymore. I actually have to scroll up and chat. I missed some of this stuff. King of Abs. Thank you for that host. And whoa, whoa, Ichabod. No Doctor Who? Almost all the way through 70s before it took it off Netflix or Hulu. Tom Baker's hat. So, here we go. Scarf. Yes, Tom Baker's scarf. Yeah. So yeah, this is... I cannot claim the crafting on this one, though. I wish I could. It's very well done. Probably like it's actually, I mean, it's very, very dense. It's a thin yarn that she used. Probably like a 6 needle. So this took a long time. One up, girl. Yeah, unfortunately, it's like a minute behind now, so I'm like just watching myself talk to the TV. So yeah, it's an awesome piece, and I mean it's huge. I'm still like sitting here admiring it. Actually, you know what we could do? We could actually have this be part of like the decor here, and we can keep this on the couch. The crochet couch has a Doctor Who flair to it. Oh my gosh, it's so long. There we go. There. Maybe we'll keep this as a permanent installment. There we go. That way it won't fall off. Permanent installment. Doctor Who scarf. Which I, again, unfortunately cannot claim the crafting quality on it. Uh-oh, that's bad. Ooh, did that come off of this? Okay. I should take a look at her stuff. Doctor Who, I've seen it on Amazon Prime. Maybe I could play an episode in the background streaming instead of listening to Pandora. Who played TV while streaming? Yeah, I think there's like copyright issues with like playing TV. I know someone was like listening to a podcast while they were streaming, and they kind of got in trouble for that. But yeah, I don't think you can do that. And like I think you can read stuff on stream, but you couldn't post the text. But again, I'm not even sure about that. I thought it'd be kind of neat to do like a creative reading stream though. But that's more like education, which I don't think Twitch really has any sort of like category for that. And if you don't stream in the right category, you get in trouble. Alright, so I was doing, I don't know, how much do you guys follow the other, like the other stream categories? Oh yeah, that That one was super creepy. Really cool, but super creepy. Alright, so that is actually the correct pattern. That one is for the blanket that's on my lap. So if you wanted to grab a bunch of random stash yarn, because it's really a stash buster project. My recommendation would be, if you do something like a stash buster for it, to use yarn that's in all the same weight. I did not. So my blanket like expands and contracts with the size of the yarn. Ooh. That's a good idea. Yeah, I've been trying to figure out a theme for gifts and all that. I kind of have the idea for cats. I know a lot of people do cats. But yeah, are you my mummy? I mean, the premise of that episode is really, like, it's so sad. Alright, so Adorn, the big question is, who's your favorite doctor? I don't think there's lower and uppercase. I think it's just the idea that's being expressed. And it's like phonetic pictorial. Everyone does live, but I meant the premise, the fact that she had to hide it, that she had to, you know, lie to that kid, and then at the very end, it's just so sad, where she's like, yes, yes, I am. Oh, the whole weird, like, you know, kid get hit by a bomb and gets mutated into spreading this nasty, nasty thing. That's creepy. Also, we really need to develop nanobots. Like, that's just, it needs to be developed. Why is that funny? Well, you just have to give it the right, like, yeah. They were doing what they were programmed to do, but they, okay. Apparently I didn't learn the correct lesson from the episode. Something happened at work the other day where I actually caught myself thinking, like, alright, we just need nanobots to fix this. And I was like, that's a strange thought to have. John Pertwee. Favorite from the original series. Haven't seen any with him. I've only seen the new stuff. Sorry. We were gonna fix that, and then it got off Netflix. And David Tennant, of course, for the new series. I don't want to say I like David Tennant because everybody likes David Tennant. But I like David Tennant. As far as companions, favorite companion? Ichabod, if you do watch it, stick with at least a few episodes, Girls on You. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that statement. It took me 6 episodes to really like it because I started with the new stuff. I started with Rose. I thought the first 2 or 3 episodes were so dumb. With Rose. When I saw them with you, it was the second time I saw them. The first time I saw them, I was watching it by myself going, these people are idiots. Like, I did not enjoy watching them be dumb. It took me a while to warm up to Matt Smith, but he did do a banging job. Yeah, Matt Smith was. Once I realized what like Doctor Who in general was all about, I really did like Matt Smith. He was only there for like 1 season or part of a season. Yeah, he was there for a couple. Yeah. Eccleston, yeah. Yeah, that's the one I didn't. Oh, the Mannequin Aliens. Yeah, that was the first one. Oh, it was Eccleston. Yeah, I couldn't really grasp what was going on there. But I was also, like I said, I was watching it by myself and not with a fan. It makes a big difference to watch with somebody who already likes it and can maybe help explain some stuff. Because you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? Because it takes a while to actually realize he's not human. He's not just a smart human. Oh, Ichabod, that's actually sad. If you like sci-fi, you should really try to make a little time for Doctor Who. My uncle really called me on it, because I kind of pretended to know what Doctor Who was. Like, I'd smile and nod when he'd talk about it. But Dalek, I didn't know how to pronounce it. I kept saying Dalek. And he just looked at me after, he's like, why do you keep saying Dalek? I was like, isn't that what it is? He's like, it's a Dalek. Haven't you ever seen it? And I was like, no. So, totally called me out. Yeah, we rearranged the setup so like this couch will probably be our entertainment as well as my content creation. When I keep looking up, what I'm actually looking at is a television screen. So I have the camera on top of the TV, and I have Twitch there, so I'm essentially watching myself, but so I can read the chat. And we've hooked up a system to actually stream some television and all that on here too. We would watch in the living room, but we have roommates, and most of the time they're watching stuff on TV, so we need to find our own way to do it. Or they're going to bed and it's too late. Dude, now we don't have to stop watching TV at like 10 o'clock at night. Yay! Yeah, definitely having background sound. I mean, I'd like log into anybody else who was crafting so I could do my own stuff, and I'm like, I want to hang out with someone else who's doing the same thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, I wanted to hang out, and I started hanging out with Jenny Knits and Mini Burger when I was unemployed and crafting. But now that I have a job, by the time I get home, like, it's so late on the East Coast. But that's also when I realized that this was actually a good time to stream, because the stuff I wanted to do and wanted to see was pretty much absent, so hoping to fill that gap. Oh man, and if I start streaming me trying to knit, oh man, you all will have quite a laugh, because I will literally be sitting here with a book and probably tangled up in the yarn. So but learning to knit is actually something I want to do. I can't see the icon. I don't know what it is. Big balls. Oh, knitting and big balls. Oh! Yeah. That's our Jenny Knits, right? Yeah. I love her big balls one. I don't know what that first one is. I kind of far away. I can't see it. A midnight hooker. Very nice. Yeah, I think I jumped into Hell Chicks channel last night. And I think we ended up rating Needy Bird, which is how I met her. And she's like, so what do you do? And I'm like, I crochet. She's like, so you're a hooker. And I was like, yes, I am a hooker. Yeah. All hours hooker is good too. Yay, Ichabod! You know, one thing I do wish is I wish I could search stream teams. I find it strange that Twitch implemented that, but you can't search them. Like, I want to know if there's more fiber art stream teams. But you can't browse them. Unless I just haven't figured out how to use a website and I'm a total noob, which is also possible. Followed channels. Tap and chronological scroll all the way down to the bottom. Yeah, follow channels. I'm talking about stream teams. Oh, you mean the first person who started watching? Oh, I see what you're saying. Not talking about the channels or teams. Teams. Now I've tried, after TwitchCon, I tried to go follow everybody on the KBN team. There's just so many people. And I don't necessarily want to follow people if they never stream again. Because I saw how, I noticed how easy it was for me to just stop streaming and not do it. It does, but I get that. But I want to see other stream teams. I want to find other crafty stream teams. Not that I necessarily want to like jump ship and leave KBN, but like sometimes there's nobody streaming creative on KBN. Like they'll be playing games. I'm like, I don't want games. I want creative. Yeah, last night I think I actually jumped into the creative community and it's like, okay, drawing, 3D modeling, music writing, okay, composition, more drawing, more 3D writing. Oh, woodworking, okay, that one's cool. But no more like fiber arts. Excuse me. Alright, after this I'll see how many rows I've gotten done. Creative games and scroll the bottom of the channels and then go up and find new people. Oh, like so you start the people who have the least amount of views and then start working your way up. I do like jumping into smaller streams. I don't like the huge ones. Because a lot of times I'm looking for interaction. You know, if the guy has, you know, freaking 200 people, there's no way they're gonna talk to you. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Sweet. I'm starting row 28 then. Oh man, I just realized that now that I don't have Revlobot, I don't know how I'm gonna do giveaways. How do you guys do giveaways? Yeah, no, like between the time like the 6 months I stopped streaming, like everything technologically changed. K-Hook Creations! Yay! It was so cool to see her picture in the Discord and then like go to Ravelry and be like, wait a second, I've seen that picture. She made it to the front page of Ravelry. I thought she did. Unless I'm thinking of somebody else and the person I'm thinking of is not K-Hook. Did Needy Bird take off? I think she may have said something about having to go. Someone did. I was gonna ask her a question about the crochet lady, Marley Bird, if you guys have ever heard of her. No, my ears are starting to hurt from wearing the headphones. Like, they're sitting just a little too heavy on the... Why am I wearing these? Well, it's been about 2.5 hours. Many stitches! What kind of hat are you making? I mean, I'm only halfway done with this square that I wanted to do. I'm like, oh, I wanted to get the whole thing done tonight. That was pretty wishful thinking. Oh, geez, that's such a long time. Yeah, I was talking about these headphones last night. I'm like, I like them. Like, I love the fact that they're wireless. But they're slightly too big. So, like, the headband is too big, and they're sitting, and actually my ears are taking some of the weight of it. A divine pattern hat unravelry. I feel like I should just grab my phone and get it up. My phone is over there and about ready to die. Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable in Tealberry. So, I was saying this and when we went shopping at Michael's, I think, the other day, like a week ago, and I was like, I'm kind of becoming sort of a yarn snob. I don't want to use Red Heart anymore. But Red Heart has actually kept up in the yarn game, so sometimes I can't tell the difference. Because I picked up what I thought was I don't remember what I thought it was, but isn't Shawl in a Ball by Red Heart? And I was like, oh man, they fooled me again, Shawl in a Ball. Because I was looking for something that looked really pretty for a shawl pattern we are doing next year. Thank you very much, Crafty Cat. So glad to have you here. Yeah, rest well, and I hope all your projects turn out as you hope. So have a good night. I actually started off crocheting, like, you know, would crochet the basic scarves and stuff, but then I moved on and did some amigurumi, and it was okay for the most part, except faces. I cannot make cute yarny faces for the life of me. Like, I look at, if you follow not.bad on Instagram, he's a crocheter. He writes his own amigurumi patterns, and they are all crazy adorable. Just super cute. And he released one earlier today or yesterday that, like, he has a kit through Lion Brand. Like, he's actually sponsored by them and wrote patterns for these super, super cute, like, I think it just said it's a Not Bad Christmas is what the kit's called. And they're gorgeous amigurumis. And they're bigger ones too, so they're not like the itty bitty ones. He's like, oh my gosh, these are huge. They're the size of a skein of yarn. I'm like, well, then you just made a stuffed animal. Needle. I have seen Beetle at Bay. But yeah, actually, I think when I catch her, she's not actually crafting. I caught her when she was doing some like IRL streams, and just like she was moving, and that was probably a few months ago. And I actually got to meet her at TwitchCon. The Naughty by Nature group did cooking. Yeah, she was cooking. She was doing some cooking, but she was also like talking about moving and stuff. Rogandane? Rogandane. That is a host from him. Thank you very much for that. A baby Murloc? Oh, no way. As much as I like hate, I'm pretty big into World of Warcraft. As much as I hate Murlocs, like people have like really turned it into a thing. So I mean, I gotta respect it. Murlocs are hard. They got all little spiny things in the back, and you have to make their eyes big and cute. Maybe even articulated mouth, so he can go blah, 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 right? With a little sword in his hand, right? Yes, you heard that. Is it like the Murky Knight? Because there was a pet that they gave away at one of the BlizzCons that was like a paladin version of Murky or something. Well, everything in Hearthstone is from World of Warcraft, so same-o. Comme ci, comme ça. So much black yarn. So much black. But they're a mob. Yeah, well, I mean, but everything in Hearthstone comes from WoW. The full name of Hearthstone is Hearthstone Heroes of Warcraft. So everything in the Hearthstone game can exist in the WoW universe. Not everybody is there, and some people in Hearthstone are made up. But yeah, it's yep, all I know about WoW. Yay! Oh, so you're saying she did a Hearthstone card. Murky is the Murloc from Hearthstone. They actually added a bunch of named Murlocs in the thing, and I mean, if you play the current World of Warcraft, you go to a PvP zone and you turn in stuff to a Murloc to get honor points. Tiny Fin. Tiny Fin. Yeah, that's a card. I don't remember what it does. I think it's a good one though. Yeah, and the Murloc, if you make a Murloc deck, it can just overrun stuff. Because they're tiny, but they can buff each other. And Dragon Skavinsky? Drakovsky 12. Thank you for the host. Tiny Fin. Yeah, so we went to BlizzCon and they had the Hearthstone reveal of the kobolds and caverns. Catacombs, yes, kobolds and catacombs. But they also gave us 3D glasses to watch the trailer for it. And you can still watch it if you have a pair of 3D glasses with the blue and the red in it. You can actually see it in 3D even if you watch a YouTube video of it, so that's pretty cool. Kobolds and Catacombs release. I just realized I need to download all my pictures off of Google Drive and crop them and put them up in Ravelry. Because I have this As You Go stripy blanket and I have taken a lot of pictures of this blanket. But I haven't even entered it into Ravelry yet. Anyway, going back to the whole beadlet bay thing, yeah, I totally need to catch her when she's crafting and not doing her other stuff. So do you guys play Hearthstone as well? I tried getting back into it after I went to BlizzCon, but it's hard to if you're not keeping up with the cards. I wanted to hit the top 20 rank. Actually, I need to see how many days are left of it. Because I like collecting the card backs, but you have to play enough games to rank up. Yeah. Yeah, so I tried playing enough games to rank up, but I just haven't. I get to a certain point where I end up doing 1-to-1. And I'll be like, I win one, I lose one, I win one, I lose one, I win one, I lose one. It's like, okay, fine, I hit the place where I can't be any better, but that sucks because I really just want to, you know, get my card back and be done with it. Oh, wow. Secrets Paladin. I was gonna say, that's been around for a while. An Eye for Eye is a great card. Really annoying if they attack you with a 1/1 though. And Needy Bird is still here. Hi! I thought you may have gone to bed. Oh, you did? You commented on Murky. Okay. But yeah, I still thought you went to bed. All the lemonade to drink. Lemonade, lemonade. Did you make lemonade, or you like just pour yourself a drink, or like you drinking out of a carton? Oh. Oh, it's right. You're starting on that really cool 4-pointed star square. You said those are gonna be 12 by 12s? Also, I think your idea of a lavender or light purple will go along well. I do like the brown idea, but maybe a less intense brown, if that's an option. Hardy's. Oh, nice! There are no Hardee's near me. I moved from the Midwest out to California. They have Carl's Jr., which is not the same. They have, even though it's the same weird little smiling star, totally not. They have Arby's, which is close-ish. Yeah, sometimes you just have to see it done. I know there was this one gal in my knit and crochet group who was trying to learn the, you know that dragon scale stitch that was like all over Facebook, probably like 6 months ago? And she could not figure it out. But she was also reading the instructions from some other place. But I found a YouTube video. I don't know if you guys ever watched Bag O Day Crochet. She does an excellent tutorial on the dragon scale stitch. So I did 3 like rows. If I kept going, I could make the bag, but I really just wanted to learn how to do the stitch. And that's one that I would definitely say is much easier to learn while you watch someone do it, because you literally start it and you have to turn your work 90 degrees, keep working, and then turn it back. So it's like you make a row of double crochets and then you actually work down the double crochets and back up again, and then you keep going. And I don't know how you would write that in an understandable way on a pattern. And I said double crochet and I started doing double crochets on my work here. These are all singles. I'm a big fan of like the brown that like keeps keeps those lighter colors grounded. What is that? Line low. Layin low. Thank you for the host. It is much appreciated. I don't know, maybe like, because that would be kind of a lot of pastel-y colors. I don't know what I mean, like by grounding it. Just, I'm not such a fan of pastel to begin with. I might do my edge in brown and maybe connect the squares in brown. Depends on what you're going after too. Yeah, I think I really like the Simply Soft stuff. I think the only complaint I have about it is that it seems to split kind of easy. That's the few projects I've used. Like, I think the only Simply Soft I have is a navy, and maybe it was just a bad skein of yarn. But yeah, it seems to split a lot. Callie May, Mr. What? Call me Mr. KDG. Thank you for that host. Totally splits a lot. Okay. Oof. Oh man. So you're doing amigurumi with it? I'm trying to remember the first thing I did with it, cause like I have like a softball size bit of it left. Down here? I think I brought it down. Yeah, there it is. I mean, it's slippery. That's for sure. I don't remember the majority thing because I've used some of it to make a Minions bag, but this was like my backup color. I don't remember what it was a full skein when I started using it. I just don't remember what project it went to. But yeah, it's really soft, but the thing I remember is it splits a lot. But yeah, that's a Karen Simply Soft. And it's really nice to hold and touch, like. Same thing with the Lion brand homespun. So this stuff, so it's kind of knobby. It has a couple different color variations in it, so it's not a solid color, but it's like a knobby yarn twisted with like a piece of cotton. So you have a very thin piece and then this knobby yarn around it. And it just feels so soft. It's awesome. But working with it, you're like always splitting it. It's very fuzzy, so it gets caught in itself, and it can be maddening, but it's so soft. I pretty much warned everyone in my guild away from it. I know it looks cool. I know it feels cool. I was like, but it'll drive you insane. Now, though, some of my spun yarns I've made myself, I know are also kind of difficult to use. But I think I have this stuff, which is Corriedale. That I took a spinning class last year, and I've spun a little bit since then, but not terribly much. So I have this Corriedale I spun. So this is actually some of my very first spun yarn. Still smells a little bit cheapy, not terrible. Pass the crocheting into the starting chain. Use a DC. Oh, okay. The Karen. So yeah. But I'm probably going to use some of this in the blanket, and if I don't use it in the blanket, I'll actually probably make the border of the blanket with my own spun yarn. That's actually might be what I do, because this is actually kind of a lot right here. I just need to... It's been sitting in that bag for a while. It needs to take it a little bit. I'm not quite sure how I twisted it together. There we go. But yeah, this might not be enough for a border, but this is more of a yellow. But it has a bit of spring to it. But as you can see, it's like over twisted and super thick, and this is your thick and thin art yarn. But I do need to do something with it, and I think I want to put it into this blanket. There we go. Make it sort of look like a skein there. And I have these two, which are much cleaner white ones, but I wouldn't want to go yellow, white, because then it just looks dirty. Weaving takes up kind of a lot of yarn. I just made 2 scarves. The one scarf I had to just like hurry up and make it. I hit 5 feet or 6 feet on it. And it's about the right size for the scarf it is. But I don't know if I'd want to use that particular hand spun out because I don't have enough yardage. Savage, thank you for that, host. Yeah. Yeah, I need to actually go borrow one of the ladies that I did some of the weaving with. She like collects spinning wheels and looms and whatever, and she's like, "Do you want this loom? I can't stand it. It's like she's been spoiled by a really nicer one. She's like, well, I have this one. If you want, you can have it. If you don't like it, all I ask is you don't sell it." Okay, so I need to get in contact with her and pick that up and hopefully finish do a scarf or something with it. I haven't gotten anything from my brother-in-law for Christmas yet, so I could probably make a scarf for him. I know exactly what yarn I want to use too. It's something I got from Joann's. I'm actually very proud of my woven pieces. It's not, I mean, unless you really screw up, it's hard to make weaving look bad. I think I may have, the last piece I did, I made it really difficult on myself. I did a log cabin pattern, but I used 2 colors that were similar. Shouldn't have done that. And in addition to that, they were sparkly. So it would freaking play tricks on my eyes when I was trying to choose which ones needed to go on top, which ones needed to go through. It took a lot longer than I expected. It looks really cool, but it it was taxing on my eyes. I also need to catch Hellchick, when she's doing her fiber prep. I showed up in her channel like as she was like, okay, well, let's see who we're gonna go raid. I'm done for the evening. And I was like, no, I just got here. But then we raided Needy Bird, so it was fine. Lauge 500, I believe. Luge. Thank you very much for that, host. Oh, now I remember what I was gonna ask Needy Bird. But now, for real, she's probably asleep. Although I know Crafty Cat was the one who said goodbye. Like, for sure goodbye. Good that you're still here. I was gonna ask you if you've ever listened to, I mean, just because this is a similar name, Marley Bird Crochet. Oh my gosh! 6:30, that's so early! And yeah, for you it's like 1 a.m. already, holy crap! Have a fantastic evening. Thank you so much for the follow. I do hope to be on a couple times a week. Night night. I'm actually a little disappointed in my overlay that I made through Streamlabs. That big black rectangle there is supposed to be putting up chat too. Like, I'm supposed to be able to read it. But I can't. So I started listening to podcasts and I downloaded a paid app called, I can't remember what it's called. What's the podcast app called? Just Podcasts or Podcaster? The one with the red circle and the Pocket Casts. Yeah, it's not one. We'll just go with that one. So I searched for everything yarn and crochet in this Pocket Cast app, and Marley Bird Crochet came up. And I was like, okay, so I started listening to it. I didn't realize that, like, this individual has been, like, in the forefront of podcasting, the forefront of, like, getting fiber arts out there and, like, advocating for it for, like, 15 years. Gerlock09, thank you for that, host. But yeah, 15 years. Like, her podcasts go back to 2003. And when I first started listening to it, she's like, oh yeah, I moved over from this other platform to this new platform. And so she's actually been doing it longer. I love the idea where she actually has, like, people call in and they talk about stuff. The only downside, and probably a really big downside, is that they had like no post audio mixing. So it sounds like she's in a bathroom the whole time. Like it's just echoey all over the place. And after listening to like 2.5 of her podcasts, I had a wicked bad headache. So I just, I was like, I really want to listen to your stuff, but it's so horrible to listen to. It just hurts. Anyway, so yeah, your username reminds me of her stuff, just because you're both crocheters. That's really the Marley Bird, Needy Bird, and Crochet. Alright, I'm gonna get to the end of this row. I'm gonna count again how many I actually have. I'm gonna be so close, but like it's getting so late. I'm not gonna be able to. I mean, look, I could push through and finish it, but then I would be pretty much non-functional at work tomorrow, and that's kind of not an option. Because otters. Yeah, because otters. And thank you for that host. That's a fantastic username. Because otters. Yes, because otters. Otters are adorable. I bet they're stinky like ferrets, but they're still adorable. Ferrets are adorable too. Just stinky. Oh, I think my thing did the buffering thing again. At least I didn't randomly start hosting someone. Alright. Time to count. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38. Oh my gosh, 38. And I need to get to 44. So that means I have 6 more rows to do. That. I made such progress. I thought I wasn't going to get anything done after I noticed how much I spoke with my hands. Knots. No. Knots are bad. Knots are bad, Makai. There we go. Not that. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at my pictures scrolling through there, and I'm like, I feel like I'm missing some. I'm missing a lot. Like, I made 2 book bags for my nieces. One a Wonder Woman one, and the other's a Minion one. And I was like, something's missing. Yeah, because I spent so much time working on those this year. Like, those took probably a better part of 2 months. I was also getting very distracted with how I was going to go about making them. I made a yarny button for the Minion one. And the Wonder Woman one, I was running out of time, so it's just kind of a single strap. But it looks super one round. Alright, I think I'll finish these last 5 rows and I'll have to call it. And definitely do some bedtime. Yeah, after I finish these cushion things, I'm gonna, well, I have the cushions, and then I have the blanket, and then I need to revisit my to-do list and reprioritize it. I think what's next is gonna be like learn to knit. I've done some small swatches, some small knitting swatches. I think I need to actually watch YouTube videos of like other people knitting and looking at how the stitch forms. I don't understand it yet. It seems completely just it seems random. I don't even understand how the piece holds itself together. I don't understand how the stick without a hook can actually is actually effective. I mean, a lot of people do it, so it's obviously effective, but I don't understand. I was like, why don't knitting needles just have a tiny little hook on the bottom, back of them? Although I'm also really interested in learning Tunisian crochet. I have a Tunisian crochet hook set on my Amazon wish list that I go look at occasionally. I'm like, maybe not today. There was one interchangeable set that I thought was cool. It was something like $80. But yeah, Tunisian is something I would definitely have to sit down and pay attention to. Okay, so that's row 2 out of 6. But yeah, I have to follow Tunisian instructions very carefully. Because it's a lot of stick the needle through the one, 2 rows below the one you just did. Okay, then you stick it below 2, and then you stick it below 3, and then you pull it through all 4, and you're like, oh my goodness. Repeat that 5 times. Now on the 5th time, you only do it twice and then once. Alright. You have a fantastic evening, Matey Bird. Yes, you too. I shall have a lovely night. Like I said, I've got 4 more rows to go on here. And then I'll probably call it. It was wonderful to see you here. Alright, yeah, I got end of row 3 here. Well, not 3, but counting down. Okay, 3 left. That's 3 out of 6. It's 11:05. I did tell myself I was gonna stream till about 11. I have 2.5 more rows at this point. So yeah, we'll finish up the rows I have to do here. I probably won't cut it because I'll still have to sort of shape it to the cushion. And I know I had to do quite a few like extra border rows. On the top part. So then the next step is to get this shaped, get it crocheted together. And I'm wondering if it would be a good idea to take the last row off of the yellow piece, replace it with a yellow crochet bit, do a yellow crochet on the end of this one, and then do single crochet together on the inside, flip it outside, and then finish it. And the seam would be on kind of the inside. It's for a chair cushion though. Like the seam could probably be on the outside and it would be fine. So that was row 4 that we just finished. So starting row 5, end is in sight. That was really neat to have all those people show up, especially Knitting Nerd. I did post on Facebook and tag a few people who was like, you guys might want to come check this out. I told her about it. I don't think she had really grasped what I was saying. I'd sort of shown her some of my previous videos. This is much better, much cleaner setup. It's funny because she's seen a lot of the actual items in person that are on the slideshow there. Oh, body is telling me I need to start moving. Alright guys, last row for the evening, right here. I can tell I'm getting tired. I'm like holding it closer and closer to my face. I do need to make an appointment for glasses though, or at least to get my eyes checked. We were looking at some boxes from across the room and I couldn't read what they said. So, actually at the moment I don't really need to see what I'm doing, I just kind of feel. But also, all black yarn, not easy to see. I'm definitely gonna have to plug the headphones in. If they're not already dead. Oh, I know they're not dead. That was a really dumb thing to say, since I can still hear music. You know you're getting too tired when... Oh guys, coming to the end of the row. Look at that, look at that. If I'd stop dropping my freaking yarn, I can actually finish this. Yeah, my fingers are getting really, really tired. Well, that's mostly I'm falling asleep. very tired. Done, yeah! Alright. Cool. Alright, so there we go, a black square. This is the culmination of tonight's efforts. Plus some awesome new people who came to hung out and chat. Fantastic chat tonight. Just excellent people. So, grab my stitch marker here. Clean up my mess. Stick this in here. Alright. So as we see, all our bits and pieces of other projects.
It's a useless waste of time. I don't care what's on your mind.
Alright, so this is our first one. All finished and essentially squared up. As much as I could. Flip this over and see what we got now. This is what we just finished. Yeah, so I'm going to have to do the same squaring up, which is kind of turning my stitches 90 degrees and sort of doing a turn. It's a, 2 crochet into 1, so it can make that like turn around there. And I had the same issue with the other side, where it looks like, oh my gosh, you have to add a bunch over here, you have to add a bunch some over here. What I ended up doing is I went down and came back to add that little bit of extra there. So what happens is I'll probably take out this last stitch I did, and I'll turn the corner, so to speak. Turn the corner, go down, turn the corner and come back, and then continue around until it's as big as I need to, and then the last row will be in the color, so it'll be yellow. And then we'll go ahead and then stitch it all together and have ourselves some super nerdy. And what's really funny is that this cushion is so thin that these 2 layers of single crocheted fabric are gonna practically double the cushiness of it. So then we will have matching chair cushion and coaster. So, thank you all for joining me tonight. It was fantastic. I hope to come back probably tomorrow night. I'll be able to do that. But I definitely need to complete some of these, so I'll be working on this. I think I will try and work on 2. I'll be working on finishing 2 for Saturday. Doesn't mean I won't continue with the rest, but those are the ones I do. Move on to something a little fun for a little while.